Welcome to today's webinar, From Legacy Integration to AI Ready. Modernize without disrupting the business using Azure Integration Services. So we will wait for a couple of minutes as more attendees join the session.
Perfect.
Okay, let's get started. Thank you all for taking the time to join today's webinar. Once again, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on integration modernization from legacy middleware to AI-ready architecture. My name is Shweta, and I will be your host for today's session. Today, we will explore how organizations can modernize their integration landscape using Azure Integration Services and build a strong foundation for AI-driven innovation. We also have an exciting real-world transformation story to share with you today. Before we begin, just a few quick housekeeping notes. This session is being recorded, and the recording will be shared with attendees after the webinar. We encourage you to submit your questions anytime during the session using the Q&A. And we will also have a dedicated Q&A session at the end of the webinar to address your questions live. Now, let me quickly introduce our speakers for today. First, we have Harold Campus, Principal Product Manager at Microsoft, leading innovation for Azure Logic apps and helping enterprises modernize legacy middleware with cloud-native integration solutions. Joining him is Vibhuti Singh, Senior Solution Architect at CloudFronts, specializing in Azure integrations, services, AI-driven architecture, and enterprise modernization. And finally, we have Anil Shah, CEO of CloudFronts, with over 20 years of experience helping organizations adopt Microsoft technologies to drive business transformation and AI readiness. We are excited to have all of you with us today. With that, let's get started. Over to you, Anil.
All right. Thank you, Shweta. And look, I mean, you gave it away. You said over 20 years of experience, so I guess most people can guess my age now. But 20 years ago, I started my career fresh out of graduate school in upstate New York as a data integration engineer. In my first job in that experience, I learned the importance of connecting systems and how to get reliable data in the hands of people to make decisions and move sort of their work and their organization forward. And I also learned something, funnily enough, that everyone overestimates how clean their data is. Over the years, connecting systems has actually helped me build my organization where we've deployed Microsoft business solutions for many customers as kind of a big differentiator. And that connecting systems has been a pillar of customer success in what I've delivered. I work with many different integration platforms, legacy platforms, etc. Today, the Azure Integration Platform allows you to do a lot of these things by connecting these systems, by being in the cloud, and helping you with a low TCO. With that, and with that quick introduction, I'm going to hand over to Harold to talk more about what we can do with the Azure Integration Platform and how we can leverage AI to actually connect these systems better, move from your legacy or disjointed legacy platforms or disjointed systems to the Azure Integration Platform. Over to you, Harold.
Thank you so much for this intro, Neil. Can you see my content? Can you see? I see it a bit gray.
We can see it.
You see it well? Perfect. Okay. Well, first of all, My name is Harold Campos. I'm a principal program manager in the Logic Apps team, which is part of Azure Integration Services. And I will be speaking a little bit about what is AI-ready integration, what is AI-ready integration architecture, the Logic Apps capabilities that will allow you um, to get to the next level, right? I mean, so one of the things that we talk a lot about is the concept of a business process, right? I mean, I think what has been common over the last 30, 40 years and beyond is the concept of a business process as an end-to-end activity that will deliver outcomes, right? But a business process, which is run in every enterprise, has integrations, and because it needs to bring data from somewhere, or in different formats, different times, different frequency, right? And it also different technologies, of course, and but it also involves a number of steps, right? Which we call workflows, right? So then you have the integrations that connect applications, data systems, powering processes, and the workflows which orchestrate tasks across people, systems, and approvals. So if you think of what enterprises run today, right? They run both integrations and workflows. Now with AI, we are evolving business processes from deterministic to agentic. I mean, the concept of a business process remains because today these boundaries have not changed, right? So you have the integration, you have the workflows, and typically today they are conducted in a deterministic manner. You have rules-based and predictable, and then you have in agentic, you have context-aware and adaptive. In deterministic, you have static process paths, and in agentic, you have dynamic branching from real-time data. In deterministic, you have manual exception handling, and in agentic, you have AI-assisted detection and recommendations. And this is exactly where we start drawing a line on the sand, right? Agentic extends, but not replaces deterministic workflow. So then, whatever your approach is for adopting AI, you have to make sure that you create a new layer of intelligence that will adapt to the business context and change. A friend of mine told me some time ago that legacy is really what you have built yesterday, right? Anything that you are building today, tomorrow will become legacy, right? I mean, if you put it like that, then I've been working on the mainframe modernization space for many years. But I can tell you that sometimes we call legacy, I call that hyper legacy because it's very far from we are at today. But legacy is anything you have built, before today. With that, then what I like to do is introduce AI and agents that unlock new possibilities with Logic Apps, right? So if you think of, for instance, an employee onboarding business process, before you had human resources manually sending documents, schedules, training, and answer repetitive questions. After today, you can AI is used to summarize policies, suggest personalized training, agents answer new hard questions dynamically, workflows adapt by role region. Another example is insurance claims processing. Before, adjusters manually review documents, perform risk assessments, and follow static approval steps. After, AI accelerates risk scoring. Agents extract insights from unstructured documents, workflows adapt to exceptions and fraud flags. So it's definitely what we were just speaking about a minute ago. And Azure Logic Apps, which is part of Azure Integration Services, is at the center of what we call the agentic business processes intelligent tier or layer, right? From automation built for efficiency to orchestration built for intelligence and abundance. In essence, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, right, we saw a boom of these middlewares, integration middlewares across the board, right? You would see multiple companies shipping these integration products that will speak these formats, for different industries, healthcare, financial services, and they were very specialized. You saw the proliferation of mapping tools. You saw that a market was created that will support middleware-based integration, and they were fully deterministic, right? And they were built for that era. Now, with by infusing AI into a workflow product like Logic Apps, right? We are bringing the concept of agentic business process to reality, which is going to be goal-driven, intelligent, conversational, and will provide multi-agent collaboration, right? We were just speaking a few minutes ago with Anil, and we were just coming to the conclusion that integration is, this is the best time, to leverage your integration capabilities and to invest in integration, because with AI being everywhere and pervasive, you want to make sure that you exchange information, data, workflows in a secure manner, in a way where you have traceability, in a way that the CloudFronts team will be showing, right? How is it by adopting Logic Apps? It will be opening a number of scenarios that were unavailable before they did the migration, that they will be showcasing in a bit. And from a Logic Apps perspective, what you're seeing now is what we have in our AI journey. We started with RAG about I don't know, probably a year ago, and now it's generally available. So we provide building blocks for RAG, document ingestion, and retrieval, right? Against Azure OpenAI, AI search, and document intelligence. And then we shipped our own perspective of Logic Apps agentic business process called Agent Loop, which is a native building block for agentic business processes. And I have a short demo to show you how this works, right? And it integrates with Foundry. It has connectors as tools. In preview, we have our own MCP server as well in Logic Apps, and it provides the ability to use connectors as MCPs and workflows as MCPs. And in both cases, for the last couple of years, we've been named leaders in the Gartner Magic Quadrant for iPaaS. So now, with that, these are the capabilities that we have today in Logic Apps. So I wanted to ask the question, how do I get there, right? Because, in the context of legacy that I mentioned, and in the context of the legacy middlewares as well, right, you would think, oh, geez, but I have this third-party product that receives schemas, compares data, does mapping, and then it does a process in a business process, in our orchestration, in our workflow, whatever that is proprietary. How do I get to enjoy all of these capabilities, right? We have recently shipped a Logic Apps migration agent. The migration agent, it's a VS Code extension, right, that uses GitHub Copilot, that allows multiple integration platforms to be ingested to the agent, and then the outcome will be a Logic Apps workflow, and after a sequence of steps that will start from discovery through planning, conversion, testing, black box testing, up to deployment, right? The core principles of this Logic Apps migration agent are to provide best practices by design and extensible. So we are making sure that the agent brings our perspective, because one thing that we've been noticing over the years is that whenever we ship a product that is very visual, then you start running into the how do I optimize it question, right? So then the best way to optimize it is when we introduce those recommendations by default, in the tool, in this case, the migration or refactoring agent. It has enterprise scale and refactoring for VSOC and other systems, right? You can customize it as well because this is open source. It includes human in the loop across each stage, and it does a choice of deployment. It provides a choice of deployment options, Azure in the cloud or on premises via the hybrid deployment model of Logic Apps. So let me show you how this works real quick. Let me see where this is. So this is the agent. And the agent, is, as I said, it's an extension you will find in the marketplace. So if you look here for a Logic Apps agent, you will see the migration agent here, right? And this is, I think this is, yeah, 1.66. So this is the version I have. And once you install this extension, right, then you will have it available here, and you will see this icon here. And this icon will allow you to do a discovery first of workloads, and then it will allow you to go through all of the stages of the migration from analysis, planning, creation, execution, and open it until it gives you a working solution. It doesn't just give you code. It doesn't just give you a Logic Apps workspace. What it does a complete discovery of flows, right? These are VStock artifacts, for instance, that I just give it by adding one directory. And I don't want to get into the details. I just want to show you the concept so then you can explore it further with the information that we will be providing after the presentation. But you're going to be able to take, your VStock artifacts or MuleSoft or TIFCO or any others that you may have, and even customize it because, as I said, this is open source. We'll give you the repo. It's public in GitHub. And then you will be able to analyze and then get your working solution towards the end. So when I say working solution, I'm not talking about just having code available. I'm talking about having a solution that will be deployed in the cloud or on premises after a careful black box testing approach, right? So it will do testing for you. It will create synthetic data to do testing, and then it will get you to a point where your ultimate Logic Apps will be a working version of whatever you had in VStock. It's not a one-to-one conversion. It will do a complete refactoring of the solution because clearly these are two different patterns and two different architectures. They use different patterns. So what you have towards the end is a solution that can be deployed or will be deployed, if you will, right, in your target environment with little human intervention. You can add as many artifacts as you need, as many specs as you need, right? And it will do the work for you, right? It will start with this. I won't click it because it's gonna take a while, right? So let me just go back to the other part, which is how many minutes do I still have? Do I still have a few minutes to show something here? Yeah, okay. So let me click this short video and let me know if you can hear it.
Can't hear it yet, but there is no audio, Harold.
There's no audio. Okay, so well, basically, so let me see if I can. You cannot hear it, right? So let me explain it, right? Because I thought I shared this with audio. Maybe let me sharing the screen. Okay, so let me explain what this is, right? So basically, this is um, an agent loop, a business process that interacts that fulfills the function of a commercial agent and interacts with a number of systems here, right? You will see an IBM mainframe, IBM MQ system, IBM DB2 database, IBM RPG programs running on IBM, right? Another system on a mainframe, and what this agent is doing, it's basically the job of this agent is to approve or reject um, credit requests, right? Loan applications for the store. You will see that this is our agent loop, right? You will receive a credit requester. You will check if the requester has financial history. You will call another workflow for this. Then it will capture optional finance background information, and it will have a number of tools. And all of these tools, they have a specific purposes, right? To validate, the information and call external systems and everything. But the magic, let's say, or at the core of this agent, you have the default agent. You have to provide, let me see if I skip that part. Where is it? You have to provide not only the workflows, right, and everything, but you have to provide the system instructions. And the system instructions are provided here at the default agent level, right? So these system instructions will take care of coordinating all of these tools that you see here, right? So then you can have multiple connectors. In this case, you have a a connector that sends a report to Teams, to Microsoft Teams, and then a final report to the mainframe via IBM MQ. But then you have also workflows. So then what it will do is it will interact with all of these target systems via other workflows. It will read binary data. It will do a lot of things that you could do with your integration systems today, right? And then it takes the data from this person, for instance. We run we run the workflow, right? And then we'll start looking at the credits. This is a 3270 screen-based system, very legacy, very, very old, that is still running in a number of banks, right? And it reads the data as is in binary format, and then it provides the results to the agent, who in turn will give you a recommendation, to approve or reject, and then it will add the credits and information and all of that. So then that level of coordination is only possible, when you have some strong system instructions provided, or specs, to this agent that will have all of these strong integration capabilities to to uh, um, to Logic Apps. Now, thank you. I'm going to stop there. So I'm going to stop sharing so then you can continue with the content. Let's just do that. Okay, over to you.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Shweta, for the introduction, and thanks to Harold for sharing the AI-driven integration migration insights, and thanks to Anil for sharing your industry experience. Now, let's shift our focus to the webinar content. So, my name is Vibhuti Singh. I am Senior Solution Architect at CloudFront. I bring over 18 years of experience in the Microsoft stack, and for the last 6 years, I primarily focus on integration, data, and AI projects. So today I will walk you through a real US based manufacturing customer case study where we modernize their third party integration with the Azure Logic app. And now nowadays we can see how AI can be leveraged to speed up that such migrations. So let's quickly walk through the today's agenda. We will start with the problem statement and the challenges customer faced with the third party integration platform. Then we'll cover why modernization was required, why we select the Azure Logic App as a strategic integration platform, the solution architecture which we delivered, the implementation outcomes, and the operational cost impact. What lesson we learned from that engagement, how we ensure the business continuity during that migration process, how we and finally will how AI can help us to escalate the migration process, and also we will share the client testimonial and conclude with the key takeaways from this engagement. So the customer was facing a three major challenges: operational, technical, and business. So frequently data sync failure lead to outdated information across system, while limited real-time visibility impact the decision making. Additionally, like the current reactive support model caused delay in issue resolutions instead of proactive monitoring and prevention. Technical challenges were like tightly coupled integration reduce the scalability and the flexibility, making system changes complex and time consuming process. Additionally, to maintain and support this integration required a specified skill sets, increased dependency, and the operational cost. The business challenge was like high licensing and the operational cost combined with the slow development cycle reduced the overall efficiency. Additionally, existing platform lacked alignment with the modern analytics and AI initiatives, limitation, innovation, and the data-driven capability. This challenge become the key drivers for the modernization. You can also scan the QR code displayed on the screen to access the detailed case study published by the Microsoft on this implementation. So what's the problem with the third party integration? So as I mentioned, the license and the operation cost were significant high. The platform required a specified resource and the skill set for the ongoing maintenance and support. Limited scalability: whenever transaction volume increased, the customer had to upgrade the license capacity, which further increased the operational cost. Slow development cycles like deployment and the enhancement activity were time consuming process compared to the AIS, make it difficult to respond quickly to change the business requirement. These were the key platform level challenges driving the modernization initiatives. So why modernization was required? So as the business grow continuously, the customer need a near real time data availability across system. At the same time, increasing system complexity demand more simple and scalable integration approach. The organization also want better operational visibility, proactive monitoring, reduce the operational cost, align with the cloud first and the Microsoft system strategy, and laid down the foundation for the AI analytics and future innovation. So this become the major transformation goals behind the modernization journey. So why we choose Azure Logic App? So Azure Logic App is a serverless platform which allow the developer to focus on integration capability rather than infrastructure management. Logic App provide more than 1400 plus managed connector, enabling faster integration development without reinventing existing capability. Additionally, it supports scalable and event-driven integration and the real-time business process. As we already can see that it has more than 1400 plus managed connectors, so it become a low-code platform where it helps us to build the integration very fast. Logic API also provide the pay-as-you-go model, which drop the cost significantly. Additionally, Logic App also provide enterprise-grade security, monitoring, governance, and seamless integration between the Microsoft ecosystem. So these were the key reason where we selected Logic App as a strategic modern platform. So as in the previous slide, I mentioned that Logic App provide more than 1400 connectors. So it's not possible to show all connector here, but I tried to show few which will help us to relate how it is helpful. So if you want to connect with your API, you can use the HTTP connector. If you want to connect with your SQL server, you can connect with the SQL server connector. Same way Outlook. Logic App not only support the simple integration, it also support the enterprise integration as well. For that, I listed here the SAP, Jira, Zoho, and Workday connectors. So with the help of Logic App, only we need to just provide the configuration information and it will connect your system efficiently. In the SAP side, you can see Logic App can connect call the BAPI call, even it can call the remote function call, and even we can process the IDOC file as well. So this simplify the development because team can configure and connect the system quickly without building everything from scratch. So also we mentioned that the real-time visibility is a key challenge. So here on this screen, we can see how this is a screenshot of the log analytic workspace where team can could easily monitor successful and the failed workflow. On the left hand side below, you can see the name of the integration, how many time it succeeded, how many time it failed. On the right side, even you can see the pattern of failure, which will help us to analyze and upfront we can discuss with customer and we can mitigate the risk. Logic App is also a cost efficient model. So before we like, there are two types of plan with the Logic App. One is the consumption plan and one is the standard plan. It's very necessary to understand what plan you want to opt. So if you go with the Logic App consumption plan, you do not need to pay for integration development. Only you need to pay for the execution. Whereas for the Logic App standard plan, we need to pay for the computation. When to select what? So as I mentioned, Logic App consumption charge based on the data volume and the number of action. So if your data volume is high, so Microsoft provide a Logic App calculator where we can put the number of data volume, we can put the number of action in our integration, which will help you to get the exact value, estimated value, how much it will cost you. Same way in the Logic App standard, you need to just select the compute. So your cost will be fixed. So based on your data volume, you can select what exactly you want. And based on that only you can see the difference in the Logic App consumption. The lower range is $5 and upper is $700. Whereas in Logic App standard, it's fixed as because you are selecting your computations. So while doing the migration, we divide our steps into four parts: integration layer, data handling, operations and monitoring, and execution pattern. So we use Azure Logic App as an orchestration engine for managing end-to-end integration workflow. And to connect the source system, we leverage the OData and the REST API. For the data transformation, we use Liquid, with the help of Azure Function App, and we use Azure Blobs storage to intermediate store the data in the staging layer. For operational, we integrate the log analytic workspace, which provide the real-time visibility, monitoring, and alert and operational insight, which I have already shown you in the previous slide. Execution pattern is very important because it help you to define your deployment plan. So we analyze the workload behavior and identified, and based on that we proceed with our development. So here we can see the business impact which we give back to the customer. So for 30 integration, the Azure Logic App execution cost remain highly optimized, average under around $4, with estimated monthly cost of around $82. In comparison with the previous third-party integration middleware platform, it was nearly about 150K for the 3-year licensing cost. This result is an overall cost reduction of approximately 95%, shifted the customer from a large upfront investment to a flexible cost model. The only thing to be noted here is like we have opted here the Logic App consumption plan. If the same thing we integrate with the Logic App standard plan, the cost reduction will be around 40 to 60%. So now let's see the high level data flow diagram, how we have implemented that. So on the source side, we had a data dynamic 365 sales and the field service, and on the target side, FNO. The solution include two types of integration pattern. One was the event based, and second was the on demand. So for event driven scenario, we expose the logic app endpoint as a webhook, and we integrated the same in the dynamic system, which enable the dynamic system to call that integration real time whenever the data change in the system. Whereas for the schedule based, we implemented a checkpoint based mechanism to track the previously processed record, which help us to pull the record incremental from the source system. We use O data service, the system retrieve only incremental change, improving the performance and reduce the unnecessary processing. So Logic App was handling the business validation. We also implemented retry mechanism. So suppose if the source systems are down or the target systems are down, we are unable to communicate at that time due to some error or the API throttling. So Logic App is having inbuilt retry mechanism which will perform 4-time retry. Then also if the API is not up, then integration will fail. So this self-healing reduce the manual intervention. We perform the business validation at the Logic App level. Also for the mini integration, we were supposed to do the lookup, which is the parallel activity. So instead of waiting action for one another, we process all lookups in parallel, so integration run very fast. Also there was a one scenario where customer was looking for a CRM data in the MS SQL, which was behind the firewall. So for that, what we did, we pull the data from the source system, we stage the data in blob, and then we build a console application which we deployed on the VM which was behind firewall. So console application was talking with the blob storage, pulling the data, transforming the data, and perform the bulk update. So in this way, we perform the hybrid connectivity as well. So what was the implementation outcome? First, we see the reduction, significant cost reduction. Second, we see it improve the system reliability. Third, we see the faster data processing due to the web hookup, and also due to the self healing capability, it reduced the manual interventions. So what lessons we learned? So Azure Logic App provide a highly flexible and scalable cloud native integration platform while simplifying the integration development through its low code approach. We also focused on the reusable component in addition to the Microsoft managed connector. We created our own reusable internal component for data flow log, which help us to know how many data are flowing, what the status of that data, whether it's a succeed or failure. We also handle the checkpoint through a centralized reusable component, and many small utilities we have created. To store the secrets, we use the Azure Key Vault. So it become very simple for us to manage. If in case if the secrets expired, we need to update at one place, and rest all the integration will pick the latest secret from that centralized source. Additionally, we focus on the monitoring because monitoring is a critical pillar for any integration platform. With Azure Logic App, real-time monitoring and alerting help support team move from reactive to proactive. And also we enabled email alert on top of that, so it helps us to trigger the email to the support team if there is any failure. So before client inform us, we were in a position to inform that due to this data error, your integration has been failed. So it was giving the enough time to the customer also to correct the data, and in this way we were proactively monitoring the system and tried our best to not impact the business users. So also in the migration, like we mentioned that our this entire migration was a zero downtime. So how we did that? So we analyze our integration during the assessment time that 90% of the integration are the schedule based and 10% are the on demand. So after we received the UX sign off, the step one we did is like we deployed all the integration on the production environment one day prior to a production cutover. So our integration was on the production environment. During the cutover strategy, we paused all the TIPCO schedule job and we enabled all our logic app schedule job. So there was no downtime here because this activity did it parallelly. For the web hookup part, where the changes was required, so we inform the business user to not use the system for an hour, and then we update the web hookup URL quickly there, and within in 1 hour in a business day, we perform this migration without impacting the client. So when we execute this migration about 1 year ago, so at that time, AI assistance was not available. So at that time, we did this entire migration manually. However, nowadays we can achieve this through Gen AI and the agentic AI, and the portion of the migration cycle can be covered automatically. So how the AI is doing this? The first step is the analyze. Second is the conversion. Third is the escalation and review deployment. So AI can analyze the integration code. So whatever is your integration platform, whether it's a TIPCO, MuleSoft, or anything, AI will analyze your integration code. It will create the mapping definition document. It will identify the business rule. It will also prepare the technical document, and also it reduces the extensive handover and KT work. Like you do not need to take the KT from the expertise. So AI will give you the entire artifacts. After that, AI will analyze and convert the integration logic as per the logic app format. If there is any gap in that logic app flow, AI will help you to build that as well. So AI will escalate the development. After that, we need to review it, we need to test it properly, and if we are satisfied with the result on the dev environment, we can release it. So the biggest value AI bring today is speed up the analyze and the conversion phase, which are traditionally the most time consuming for the integration modernizations. So here we can see a few example like where we used agentic AI to create the integration from scratch without writing a single line of code on the Azure code. So what I did here, like I was supposed to create a integration to sync the vendor information in the FN environment. So first thing what I did is like I create a postman call. So you can see on the left side token API, then create vendor call, then account call, and then contact person call. Also I gave them a source payload, like how the source payload will look like, and inst- just instruction of few line. a- Agentic AI generate the logic app code immediately. After that I gave the prompt to deploy this logic app on Azure portal. After that prompt, my logic app was ready on the Azure portal and it worked as expected. Nowadays even Microsoft is also investing heavily in this space. Harold has already given the example of this. So like this connector, Logic App Migration Agent Connector, released 2 weeks ago. So it help you to migrate the BizTalk, MuleSoft, and the TIPCO integration to the Azure Logic App. Only we need to extract the integration low code. We need to attach in the VS code. We need to click on Analyze, and it will perform the work. So how exactly this is working? So it worked with the 5 phases: discovery, planning, conversion, validation, and the deployment. The same step which we did 1 year ago manually. It will discover, it will create the artifacts, it will plan your roadmap, it will convert the integration code into a logic app format. We need to do the validation. As of now, we need to do this validation, and once we are good, we need to just give the command for the deployment, and your logic app is ready.
I can
Yep.
thank you, Vibhuti.
Yep.
I'll jump back in. Just a quick update on if anybody needs help to move from the legacy platforms to AIS, so that they can actually leverage AI. And today, unlike 1 year ago, you can leverage AI to get AIS ready. So we're in a great spot. We offer the assessment, discovery, and proposed cycle, and then we actually do the implementation. That's the case study Vibhuti talked about today. You can reach out to us at transform@cloudfronts.com.
Thanks, Anil. So here is the testimonial which we received from David Wheeler, who is the president of TNS Solution. And one of the key highlight from the customer feedback was like it optimized their cost, and it was a zero downtime, and without disturbing the business operation. The entire migration was a zero downtime without disturbing the business user operations. So the key takeaways are like we help in the cost reduction. We opt for the cloud native, so it give us the scalability. We can build the integration we want. We plan the zero downtime migration where it is not possible for each use case, but for this use case, it was a zero downtime because 90% were the scheduled job. So based on your integration landscape, we can decide how much cutover is required. With the help of event-driven approach, it provides us the real-time data synchronization. Nowadays, AI will help us to do the migration. Not only the migration, even we can create the new integration from scratch. And with the help of log analytic, it simplified the operation and the monitoring process. So with that, we now come to an end of today's session. Thank you once again for your time and participation. I hope you found the discussion valuable and gained the useful insights on Azure Logic App. So if you have any question, you can put it in the chat. So I and Harold will answer on that.
I think everything is self-explanatory then. No questions. Look, this webinar recording will be available. We'll be posting on some of our social media channels as well. Um, since there are no questions, I'll just recap. 20 years ago, integration was important. Today, if you really do want to, organizations want to leverage AI, they want to get to agentic, become an agentic enterprise. It cannot happen without a foundation of reliable data, and a good, solid integration platform can enable that. And we can deploy this on the Azure Integration Platform. What Harold and Vibhuti showed today, that what wasn't existing 1 year ago with regards to enabling migration from legacy platforms, whether it is TIBCO, MuleSoft, or Bestock. Today, you can use a lot of these AI tools to move your migration faster. You can see how you can do it with limited downtime or no downtime. And finally, you bring back sort of the cost of ownership pretty much on a consumption or a logic apps standard licensing model, which still dramatically reduces what you are spending otherwise, because you don't need a lot of the functionalities that you don't need, and you scale the way you want. I think we've heard in recent few weeks and days about headless CRM or headless ERP. AIS is really sort of your headless integration platform. It gives you all the sauce and secret stuff and all the stuff that you need behind the scenes, so you can develop an integration platform that works for your org. And with that, if there's nothing else, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, Harold. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank
today.
everyone.
Thanks to our
Thank you.
speakers
Thanks.
for sharing such valuable insights. If you are currently exploring your modernization journey or looking to take the next step towards AI, Our team at CloudFronts will be happy to continue the conversation and support you. Thank you once again for your participation. You can reach us
Thank you.
to
Bye, guys.
transform@cloudfronts.com. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ran.
Bye, guys.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.